If it's me, my best bang for my buck, I'm going with the Suzuki. I know it's gonna get better fuel economy. I know. What's up, everybody? I'm gonna talk to you about repowering my boat. If you've watched my videos before, you know that I have an Evinrude E-Tech on the back. It's a 2007 E-Tech, and honestly, at the beginning, it gave me tons and tons of problems, and I really have thought hard about repowering it. Now, it gave me problems not because it's an E-Tech, more because it just sat for a long time, and a lot of those problems haven't worked out from the mechanic and from me running through some fuel treatment through it. So it's running a lot better now, but I still have that nagging feeling that I want to repower. So this is the process I go through in choosing if a Yamaha or a Suzuki is going to be better for my situation. So number one thing I look at when I'm looking at this is what is the weight of the current engine, especially on a weight sensitive boat like this maritime skiff here. If your boat is sensitive to weight, you want to make sure you're putting about the same weight on the back of the boat, because if you put a heavier outboard on there, it can really affect the ride. It can even let some water in the scuppers and stuff like that, so you want to make sure it's a similar weight. So on the screen right now, I'm showing you my E-Tech's weight, and it looks like the Yamaha 115 and the Suzuki 115 are definitely the closest in weight. I wish I could go to the 150 and replace a 150 for a 150, but the weight difference of these 4-stroke 150s and this 150 horsepower E-Tech is just too great. I'm too afraid that if I put it back there, I'm gonna have different planing issues and water issues. So I'm definitely just going with a 115, either Suzuki or Yamaha. Now, looking at the weights right now, the Yamaha is actually a little bit lighter than the Suzuki, which is surprising to me because for a long time, the Yamaha 115 was actually heavier. So when I first repowered a Panga that I had, I went with the 115 Suzuki for one of the reasons being it was a lighter weight engine, but it looks like now Yamaha is actually going to be a little bit lighter than the Suzuki. Number two thing I look at when I'm looking at Yamaha versus Suzuki, especially in a repower situation, is what controls do you already have? For me, I have everything E-Tech, so it doesn't matter which one I choose. No matter what, I'm gonna have to pay for new rigging. Now, you know, I'm probably gonna go with just the old-fashioned, you know, I'm probably not going to go with the digital throttle and the digital steering. I'm going to keep what I have and keep it simple since it is a skiff. But you would really have to look at which one of those, the Yamaha or the Suzuki, have the best situation for you with your current setup. Our number three thing you want to look at is going to be warranty and how easy is it to do work. So if you are a person that loves having a big warranty, Suzuki just came out with a 5-year limited warranty on all their engines. That beats Yamaha's 3 years. But you know, warranties are warranties, and for me, the most important thing instead of a warranty is how easy it is to maintain it, because if you're maintaining your boat regularly, 100-hour services, you know, regularly flushing it, doing all that stuff, you have less likelihood of needing a warranty claim than you would if you weren't. So for me, warranty and ease of maintenance go hand in hand. I've maintained both Yamahas and Suzukis in this range, in this 115 range, and honestly, I give the nod to Yamaha. Yamaha has an easier way of changing the oil and doing all that kind of stuff that I felt it was super easy to do, and there's tons of Yamaha parts out there. If you have a Yamaha right now and you do your own maintenance, do yourself a favor and go to simyamaha.com, and they actually have the kits for you right there for each hour service, for 100-hour, 200-hour, 300-hour services, right there where you can order it, deliver it to your door, and everything you need is right there. Save that receipt, and then if you have any warranty work, you can actually give them that receipt or give them that, you know, receipt from Sim Yamaha, and they will definitely honor your work. Okay, so the fourth thing, and one of the reasons a lot of people go to 4-stroke because they think it's more fuel efficient. Now, I've used this boat a few times, and I do feel like the 150 horsepower E-Tech on the back of this just sucks down fuel. I don't have a gauge to tell me how much I use, like a fuel flow meter, but on the back of the envelope kind of estimate, I think I was getting around 4 to 4.5 gallons or miles per gallon, which is, on a skiff this size, it's pretty atrocious, to be honest with you. Now, I know I'm going down to a 115 when I'm comparing these, but, you know, looking at other people that have been in a similar situation with the maritime, you know, they say they're seeing like a 10% to a 15% increase in fuel efficiency. So what I did, instead of just going off of that, I looked at Yamaha and Suzuki performance bulletins. Now, if you're not familiar with them, For a lot of manufacturers, Yamaha and Suzuki are the preferred partners for them, and they'll have performance numbers of each one of those kind of boats. And so what I did is I found a boat that's similar to the Maritime Skiff, and it's a Carolina Skiff. I know, don't hate me in the comments, they're not exactly the same boats, they're much different, but they're similar weights, and they had the 115 Yamaha on one and the 115 Suzuki on the other, and I looked at those numbers, and you can see those numbers here. What I noticed, what stands out to me right away, is the Suzuki is more fuel efficient. Even at a heavier engine, you know, it's more fuel efficient. It just is. Now, what you're giving up for that fuel efficiency, it looks like speed. You have higher top end speed on the Yamaha, more fuel efficiency on the Suzuki. So that makes me honestly start leaning towards the Suzuki, just because my goal here is not to have this skiff be a speed demon. My goal is definitely to be the most fuel efficient boat that I possibly can get. It's not just at that best cruise speed, it's throughout the RPM range. The Suzuki is more efficient than the Yamaha. And that, for me, when I'm thinking about why I want to repower, one of it is the being able to save a little bit of money, but also the extended range that more miles per gallon give you. All right, and so I'm going to get to the thing that a lot of people are wondering, and it's cost. Now, everybody knows that Suzuki's cost less than Yamaha, but what I did is I actually reached out to a few dealerships. I got one dealer to give me a quote through email, and this is the quote right here. 150 horsepower Yamaha engine, rigged and everything, and it was just over 13 grand. Now, I got some verbal quotes from different people around the region for Suzuki's, and they were $1,500 cheaper. So not only they're more fuel efficient, they're also gonna be a little bit more cost efficient too. People are gonna say you pay for what you get, and I agree. Like, Yamaha is definitely the industry leader. It's got that name, that brand. If someone was gonna if I was gonna resell this boat, if it has a Yamaha on it, I think even the novice boater is gonna know Yamaha and reliability kind of go together. But honestly, I've never had a problem with Suzuki. I really like them a lot. But being that much cheaper than the Yamaha, that's a big draw for me. All right, and so the fifth thing that I always consider is reliability and the dealer network around here. God forbid it's something happens with the outboard engine, and you need to have work done on it that you can't do yourself, whether it's not outside the regular maintenance, or maybe you don't want to do regular maintenance and you just want someone else to do it. You got to have the dealers around you, and I think that's actually one of the biggest things you need to think about is what dealers are around you and what engines do they service. We're lucky down here in Southern Maryland. We actually have a Yamaha dealer and a Suzuki dealer all in one building, and they are great at servicing these engines. So that kind of is a wash for me. But as far as reliability, they're really both really reliable boats. I know Suzuki has come out and said they've been rated #1 most reliable, and there's different awards that point to that. But I see a ton of boats too that, have Yamahas on the back of them, and those owners never ever complain. One thing from personal experience about the Yamaha, I've had two different Yamahas, a 150 and a 250 on two different boats, and one thing that annoyed the crud out of me was the fact that the 150 and the 250 both had this squeal at idle. I think it's called a drive shaft bearing squeal, and there's multiple ways to fix it, but it never really got fixed, and it would drive me nuts. I took it to the mechanic a few times, and every single mechanic said the same thing. It's nothing to worry about. It's just a uniqueness of these Yamaha engines, but it would drive me nuts at idle. So, and anytime I had someone out, everyone thought the boat was going to blow up because of the high-pitched squeal that was coming from it. So, it wasn't hurting the reliability of the Yamaha, but when I'm using that engine, it would suck to have that in my back of my mind. As far as the Suzukis I've owned, besides regular maintenance, I never really had any problems, except one thing. I did notice that when you're engaging and disengaging the Suzuki engines, there was a bigger kind of, they call it like shudder, or like when you shift in, you can feel that propeller kind of engage. That was more noticeable in the Suzuki than, say, the Yamahas that I had, but that could have been, it just needed to be adjusted, or the prop was wrong, or anything like that. So I don't know if it's a Suzuki problem itself, or if it's something that was done with the rigging. All right, so now we're at the end here. If it's me, my best bang for my buck, I'm going with the Suzuki. I know it's gonna get better fuel economy. I know it's gonna leave me a little bit more in my pocket after I buy it. I'm confident in the reliability. I like servicing them, and I know I have a good dealer nearby, and the 5-year warranty that they just started in 2021 is a big bonus. So for me, I'm gonna go with Suzuki for this repower if I ever do it. But would I turn down a Yamaha? no, they're great boats. And if you're someone who's looking for more of that top end speed, if you're looking to, you know, if you already have Yamaha controls on your boat, then the Yamaha can be a great choice for you and probably could end up saving you money, especially if you have the Yamaha controls on the boat. You're just plug and playing. All right, so hopefully this is helpful. Hopefully you get an idea of whether a Yamaha or Suzuki is best for you. And maybe the next video I'm making will be putting a new engine on the back of this boat. Thanks for watching this video. Hope to see you on the next one.